Today's headlines: Mo Salah drops a bombshell statement, Arne Slot blamed as tensions explode, Jones and Ekitike react, Edwards and Richard Hughes at breaking point, Richard exit timeline revealed, Redknapp struggling with Slot sack talk, Gerrard gives brutal take, Pundits turn on Liverpool boss, €50 million transfer talks heat up, and a Liverpool star pushing for AC Milan move. Welcome back, LFC Echo Daily News, your home for the latest football drama, updates and breaking stories. Make sure you subscribe, like, follow and drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Mohamed Salah drops bombshell Liverpool statement and demands immediate change. Liverpool slipped to another miserable defeat against Aston Villa on Friday night to leave their hopes of a Champions League spot in doubt, and Mo Salah has now spoken out. Mohamed Salah has called on Liverpool recover their identity following another dismal weekend under Arne Slot.
The dethroned champions slipped to a miserable 4-2 defeat against Aston Villa to leave their Champions League spot in doubt ahead of the final game of the campaign. Morgan Rogers gave the hosts the lead in the second city before Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk equalised. A brace from Ollie Watkins and a further strike from John McGinn secured victory for Villa, with Van Dijk's second goal just a stoppage time consolation. The defeat leaves Liverpool fifth and just 5 points clear of Bournemouth ahead of their final day clash with Brentford. And Salah, who is due to leave at the end of the season, has now spoken out with a strong message to his teammates. Writing on Instagram, the Egyptian forward said, "I have witnessed this club go from doubters to believers and from believers to champions. It took hard work and I always did everything I could to help the club get there. Nothing makes me prouder than that. Us crumbling to yet another defeat this season was very painful and not what our fans deserve. I want to see Liverpool go back to being the heavy metal attacking team that opponents fear and back to being a team that wins trophies. That is the football I know how to play, and that is the identity that needs to be recovered and kept for good. It cannot be negotiable, and everyone that joins this club should adapt to it. Winning some games here and there is not what Liverpool should be about. All teams win games. Liverpool will always be a club that means a great deal to me and to my family. I want to see it succeed for long after I have moved on. As I've always said, qualifying to next season's Champions League is the bare minimum, and I will do everything I can to make that happen." Liverpool's title defence has been miserable under Arne Slot. They already have 12 defeats to their name in the Premier League alone this season. Giving his verdict, the Liverpool boss said, "Damaging, because we needed either a win or maybe 2 draws would have been enough as well. But now we know one thing for sure, that we need a win next week if we have to do it ourselves. As we all know, other teams, of course, need to pick up points as well for us to need a win. So that's really damaging that we were not able to get a result, let alone a win here today. There were parts in the game where I felt a result could have gone our way. But I think what people are mainly focused on is the period after the 2-1, where we couldn't find any momentum anymore and we conceded 2 other goals. That was the most difficult period in the game. In another news, Curtis Jones and Hugo Ekitike react to Mo Salah's extraordinary swipe at Liverpool manager Arne Slot. Liverpool stars Curtis Jones and Hugo Ekitike seem to side with Mohamed Salah after the Egyptian king launched an extraordinary tirade against manager Arne Slot on Saturday. Slot's side fell to a 4-2 defeat to Aston Villa away from home at Villa Park in the Premier League on Friday evening. As Villa secured their place in the Premier League top 5, Liverpool could still miss out on the Champions League places. Bournemouth are only 4 points behind Liverpool in 6th and have a game in hand. Salah did not start for Liverpool against Villa and came on only as a substitute in the second half. On Saturday afternoon, Salah, who will leave Liverpool at the end of the season, went on a rant about Slot. The Liverpool legend said that he wants the team to go back to the football that they played under then-manager Jurgen Klopp. Salah also took aim at Slot for not adapting to Liverpool's style, even though the Dutchman led the Reds to Premier League glory last season. Mohamed Salah's Liverpool statement in full. Salah wrote on X at 3:46 p.m. on May 16th, "I have witnessed this club go from doubters to believers and from believers to champions. It took hard work and I always did everything I could to help the club get there. Nothing makes me prouder than that. Us crumbling to yet another defeat this season was very painful and not what our fans deserve. Bournemouth are only 4 points behind Liverpool in 6th and have a game in hand." Salah did not start for Liverpool against Villa and came on only as a substitute in the second half. On Saturday afternoon, Salah, who will leave Liverpool at the end of the season, went on a rant about Slot. The Liverpool legend said that he wants the team to go back to the football that they played under then-manager Jurgen Klopp. Salah also took aim at Slot for not adapting to Liverpool's style, even though the Dutchman led the Reds to Premier League glory last season. Mohamed Salah's Liverpool statement in full. Salah wrote on X at 3:46 p.m. on May 16th, "I have witnessed this club go from doubters to believers and from believers to champions. It took hard work and I always did everything I could to help the club get there. Nothing makes me prouder than that. Us crumbling to yet another defeat this season was very painful and not what our fans deserve. I want to see Liverpool go back to being the heavy metal attacking team that opponents fear and back to being a team that wins trophies. That is the football I know how to play, and that is the identity that needs to be recovered and kept for good. It cannot be negotiable, and everyone that joins this club should adapt to it. Winning some games here and there is not what Liverpool should be about. All teams win games. Liverpool will always be a club that means a great deal to me and to my family. I want to see it succeed for long after I have moved on. As I've always said, qualifying to next season's Champions League is the bare minimum, and I will do everything I can to make that happen." Curtis Jones and Hugo Ekitike's reaction to Mo Salah's statement. Salah posted the same statement on Instagram, and it drew reactions from a number of his Liverpool teammates. As reported by The Express, Dominic Szoboszlai, Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kerkez, Andy Robertson, Wataru Endo and Giovanni Leone all liked the post from Mo Salah. Midfielder Curtis Jones reacted to Salah's statement by posting a clapping emoji, while striker Ekitike posted a handshake emoji. Ekitike joined Liverpool from Eintracht Frankfurt in the summer of 2025 and is on the sidelines at the moment because of a serious Achilles injury. Jones has been on the books of Liverpool for his entire professional club football career so far. However, 25-year-old England international midfielder could be on his way out of Anfield at the end of the season. In another news, Jamie Redknapp struggling with Arne Slot sack talk as Liverpool boss told he has to go. Arne Slot is under increasing pressure from the Liverpool fan base after the Reds dropped to 5th in the Premier League table following Friday's dire 4-2 defeat to Aston Villa. Jamie Redknapp has urged Liverpool to give Arne Slot another season, admitting that the idea of sacking him doesn't sit well. Reds boss Slot has overseen a disappointing follow-up campaign after winning the Premier League title in his first. A significant portion of fans have called for the Dutchman's sacking in recent months, but the Liverpool hierarchy appear to be sticking by him. However, Friday's abject 4-2 loss away to Aston Villa piled more pressure on Slot. But Redknapp doesn't want to see the ex-Feyenoord boss get the boot and can't understand the clamour from supporters for a change of manager. Liverpool are an educated fan base, the former Reds midfielder told Sky Sports. They don't really turn on their managers, but you see it, you hear it. A lot of people are maybe going away from wanting him, Slot, as the manager next year. I really struggle with that, because when you've won the league the year before and decide you want to get rid of the manager the following year, that doesn't sit well with me. I think he deserves another year after winning the Premier League title, but I expect better next year. Another ex-Liverpool player, Jermaine Pennant, isn't of the same opinion though, pointing out of a damning statistic. After the Villa defeat, Pennant wrote on X, "I do not care what's going on with injuries. Reigning Premier League champions should not have the same amount of losses as two promoted teams. Leeds and Sunderland. Slot has to go. That is not acceptable. The buck lies with you, and managers have gone for less, a lot less." Should he get the chance to improve things next season, Slot is confident that his team will benefit from a new start. The 47-year-old said post-match, "I can understand at this moment in time that they don't have a lot of confidence or a lot of feeling that things can be much better next season. But I think they are then underestimating what a window can do, what a new start can do. I think we know quite well what to improve. I think one of the things we also have to improve is also very, very, very obvious, and I would have preferred not to talk about it here, but you're actually almost forcing me to. In another news, Steven Gerrard offers bleak Arne Slot take following Mo Salah's furious Liverpool outburst. Liverpool forward Mo Salah released an angry statement less than 24 hours after the Reds' miserable defeat at the hands of Aston Villa, and Steven Gerrard has now offered his thoughts. Steven Gerrard believes Mohamed Salah's angry statement is damning for Arne Slot's future at the club. The Egyptian forward took to social media on Saturday afternoon with some home truths. He claimed that the side needed to recover their identity and called on his teammates to adapt to the demands of the club. Liverpool icon Gerrard was asked for his opinion and admitted that he was caught off guard, albeit suggested that the statement could potentially be a worry for Slot and his future at Anfield. Speaking on TNT Sports, the former midfielder said, "Wow, listen, that is extremely interesting. Mo Salah doesn't really speak much, and he doesn't tweet, and he certainly doesn't tweet like that." So I think that he's sending a message to the outside that things in that Liverpool dressing room are not right. The identity's gone, and it's really hurting him to see it in front of his own eyes. I'm surprised of the timing. 1 game to go, his last game for Liverpool. You guys know, you've been involved in the media. He very rarely speaks. He's done interviews lately because he's obviously bringing the curtain down on an incredible Liverpool career. But that is quite damning to the Liverpool manager and the staff in terms of where this team's at. That's my opinion on that. Is he speaking off his own back for the sake of everyone else in the dressing room? It's strange. It's unusual. He's going to be doing a load of media around his last game, I'm sure. I'm really looking forward to the coming days because that's unusual for a Liverpool player, and it's unusual for Mo Salah. Crumbling is a strong word. It's quite damning, the timing. It's unusual coming from Mo, the pressures on the players and the pressures on the manager, because it hasn't been nowhere near good enough. The performance last night was terrible. It was awful. It was difficult to watch from start to finish, and it hurt me watching Liverpool last night. I don't normally say that. It was a tough 90 minutes, and they got what they deserved. Villa were better all over the pitch. There was no fight, no passion, no pattern of play, no connection. They're not moving around the pitch together. Individuals were miles off what I know they can perform at. It hurt me to watch Liverpool last night. They were nowhere near good enough. Let's finish on that note. Salah is due to leave this summer on a free transfer despite having 1 year left on his contract. His final game at Anfield comes next weekend against Brentford, where Liverpool might need a win to secure their place in the Champions League for next term. In another news, Arne Slot blamed Mo Salah's furious Liverpool outburst after relationship breakdown. Outgoing Liverpool star Mohamed Salah issued a brutal statement following Friday evening's defeat to Aston Villa, and former England star Paul Robinson has shared his thoughts. Paul Robinson believes Mo Salah's angry outburst was triggered by a falling out with Liverpool boss Arne Slot. The Egyptian forward has endured a difficult season at Anfield this term, having fallen out of favour under the Dutchman. Liverpool fell to their 12th Premier League defeat of the season against Aston Villa, which triggered Salah to launch into a furious rant on social media. Asked for his response, the former Premier League goalkeeper believes Salah's issues with Slot have been bubbling away in the background all season. Speaking on BBC Radio 5 Live, he said, "I'm not surprised in all honesty. You could see that in his body language and the way that he played. You could see that he's been frustrated all season." I mean, the relationship with the manager has been fragmented for a long time since he was left out of the side. And I think he's just echoing the voices of the Liverpool supporters that have watched their team, and they've watched their team in a slow demise, really, this season in their style of play. It's been a very full possession-based team choosing to turn back and rotate and keep possession and play in a very narrow way with possession in favour of creating opportunities. I just think the style of play didn't really suit him, and he's not really been enthused with the way the manager has tried to play him. Salah now has just 1 game left as a Liverpool player, with that set to come next weekend against Brentford at Anfield. Slot could have a decision to make over his place in the side following his outburst. "I have witnessed this club go from doubters to believers and from believers to champion," Salah wrote on Instagram. "It took hard work and I always did everything I could to help the club get there. Nothing makes me prouder than that." Us crumbling to yet another defeat this season was very painful and not what our fans deserve. I want to see Liverpool go back to being the heavy metal attacking team that opponents fear and back to being a team that wins trophies. That is the football I know how to play, and that is the identity that needs to be recovered and kept for good. It cannot be negotiable, and everyone that joins this club should adapt to it. Winning some games here and there is not what Liverpool should be about. All teams win games. Liverpool will always be a club that means a great deal to me and to my family. I want to see it succeed for long after I have moved on. As I've always said, qualifying to next season's Champions League is the bare minimum, and I will do everything I can to make that happen. In another news, Liverpool pundit breaks rank with stunning Arne Slot sack tirade. Jermaine Pennant has become one of few former Liverpool players to publicly call for Arne Slot to be sacked, tearing into the dreadful records the Dutchman is breaking. Anfield hit breaking point last weekend when Slot substituted attacking bright spark Rio Ngamoa, which sparked a chorus of boos from Liverpool fans. And calls for Slot to be axed have grown in the aftermath of their damaging 4-2 defeat at Aston Villa on Friday night. Liverpool reporters such as Paul Joyce and James Pearce insist Fenway Sports Group FSG will back Slot with more signings this summer rather than ushering in a new era. However, large sections of the club's fan base have lost faith in Slot, sparking a disconnect between Liverpool and their supporters. Pennant went on an incredible rant on X/Twitter, writing, "FSG, how on earth do you see something totally different to what I see and 99.9% of the fans see, to think next season will be any better under this management?
Do you have unlimited funds we don't know about? I do not care what's going on with injuries. Reigning Premier League champions should not have the same amount of losses as two promoted teams, Leeds and Sunderland. Slot has to go. That is not acceptable. The buck lies with you, and managers have gone for a lot less." Liverpool FC have never previously conceded 52 goals in a 38-game league campaign, and there's still one more game to go. Do you know how many records this manager has accumulated? And not for the good. It's horrendous. One game to go, and I still can't say if we will get UCL. Numerous Liverpool fans commented on Pennant's post praising him for calling for Slot to be sacked. They complained about other former players, such as Jamie Carragher, not doing so. Arne Slot credit has gone bust. One commented, "Fair play, Jermaine, the only ex-Liverpool player highlighting just how out of his depth Slot is. Sack him now."
Liverpool reporter Lewis Steele says any credit Slot had in the bank from their title triumph has gone bust now. While Dominic King has written that the pressure is reaching intolerable levels, King added that Liverpool will be the luckiest team in the division if they qualify for the Champions League by making the top 5. Despite all the clamour for Slot to go, Liverpool are continuing to bury their heads in the sand. Liverpool could complete 2 giant signings to aid their head coach. In another news, Liverpool will respond to Newcastle meeting with €50 million Eurostars representatives as FSG stunned by winger. Liverpool plan to counter Newcastle United's move for Lamine Camara, as the Reds owners Fenway Sports Group FSG face a problem in their quest to bring Yan Diomande to Anfield. On May 12th, Team Talks transfer insider Graham Bailey reported Liverpool and Newcastle's interest in AS Monaco midfielder Lamine Camara. Sources have told us that Liverpool have watched Camara, who is a versatile midfielder and can play as a number 6 or number 8. We also reported how Newcastle have been hugely impressed with the 22-year-old AS Monaco and Senegal international midfielder. Bailey reported, recruitment staff at St James Park are understood to believe Camara has the profile to adapt quickly to the pace and intensity of English football. A well-placed source has confirmed to Team Talk that Camara is now regarded as a player of increasing interest, not only to Newcastle but to a growing number of Premier League clubs. The same source indicated there is a strong expectation within football circles that the Senegal international is highly likely to move to England this summer if the right proposal arrives. Liverpool and Newcastle competing for Lamine Camara. Foot Mercato has now reported that Newcastle have made a move to sign Camara and that Liverpool will respond. Newcastle make a move for Lamine Camara. Liverpool will respond, reads the headline in the report of the French news outlet, which has claimed that AS Monaco want €50 million or £43.6 million or $58.1 million for the youngster. The report has stated, in recent months, several English clubs have already inquired about the former Mets player's situation. Many more will be interested in him during the next transfer window, but according to our information, Newcastle have already decided to accelerate their pursuit. Foot Mercato added, the club is ready to move forward, and things have progressed in recent days. A meeting has been held between Newcastle's management and the representatives of the Monaco player. But Newcastle are far from alone in the pursuit. According to our sources, Liverpool are also extremely keen on the deal. The Reds management has been informed of the recent meeting between Camara's representatives and the Magpies. This information is now prompting the Merseyside club to step up their efforts to avoid being outmanoeuvred. Liverpool plan for Yan Diomande could collapse. Our transfer insider Graham Bailey has reported that Yan Diomande could decide to stay at RB Leipzig and not move to Liverpool in the summer transfer window. Liverpool have made Diomande their top winger target to replace Mohamed Salah, who will leave the Reds at the end of the season. The Premier League club's plan is to strike an agreement with Diomande's agents before the start of the 2026 World Cup finals this summer. Liverpool then plan to enter formal talks with the wingers club RB Leipzig. While Liverpool are in talks with the Ivory Coast International's representatives, we understand that the winger is increasingly open to remaining at Leipzig for at least another 12 months. Bailey has reported the teenager is believed to have loved both life in Germany and the environment within the Red Bull system, with those around him convinced his development is still accelerating rapidly. Liverpool will not sack Arne Slot despite Liverpool's defeat to Aston Villa on Friday evening and Mohamed Salah's public criticism of manager Arne Slot on Saturday. FSG have no plans to sack the Dutchman, according to The Times. While reporting Salah's social media post about Liverpool under Slot, the story, written by reliable journalist Paul Joyce, stated, Liverpool have continued to stand behind Slot and are planning a pivotal summer transfer window under sporting director Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards, CEO of Football for Fenway Sports Group, which owns the club, to address design faults in the squad which persist despite last summer's £450 million spending spree. Qualification for the Champions League is necessary to fall in line with Liverpool's self-sustaining approach, and a win over Brentford will secure that. Foot Mercato added, the club is ready to move forward, and things have progressed in recent days. A meeting has been held between Newcastle's management and the representatives of the Monaco player, but Newcastle are far from alone in the pursuit. According to our sources, Liverpool are also extremely keen on the deal. The Reds management has been informed of the recent meeting between Kamara's representatives and the Magpies. This information is now prompting the Merseyside club to step up their efforts to avoid being outmanoeuvred. In another news massive update, Richard Hughes' Liverpool exit timeline now set. It's long been reported that Richard Hughes is a wanted man in Saudi Arabia. He's being headhunted as the next sporting director of Al Hilal, and the signs are now pointing to him taking up that role. There's new ownership at Al Hilal, after all, and that lends itself to major changes at the top. Hughes is wanted to oversee their squad building going forward. The iPaper suggests Hughes is set to take the role. They've also, for the first time, suggested a timeline for this after the summer transfer window. It seems that Hughes will see out his role effectively and then move on once the window is done. His contract is set to expire in June 2027, so he's really only forgoing one last window, January 2027, by leaving early. Liverpool would likely prefer this as an exit. Hughes is the one who's done the work for the upcoming summer, but it's undoubtedly better for a long-term director to put in the work for next year. Otherwise, you get a situation where Hughes is putting in the preparation work, but then leaving right before the window truly starts. A clean break at the end of this summer is a neat way around that. Richard Hughes' situation summary Liverpool role and recent pressure. As of the 15th of May 2026, Richard Hughes is facing a defining period as Liverpool's sporting director. Since his June 2024 appointment, he has been central to the post-Klopp transition. But a difficult second campaign has drawn criticism over squad depth and recruitment strategy. Following a 1-1 draw with Chelsea on the 9th of May, local reports noted significant supporter frustration with the club's current trajectory. Transfer and contract management, Hughes is managing several high-stakes situations, including the departures of legends Mohamed Salah and Andy Robertson. He is reportedly pursuing Paris Saint-Germain's Bradley Barcola and monitoring RB Leipzig's Yan Diomande, valued at €100 million. While contract talks with Ibrahima Konate have reportedly hit a stalemate, Hughes remains tasked with an extensive summer overhaul. Future speculation reports regarding Hughes' future remain conflicting. While some sources suggest he is set to join Saudi side Al Hilal this summer, others insist he remains fully committed to his Liverpool contract until 2027. In another news, Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes reaching breaking point over Arne Slot. Arne Slot got off to the best possible start as Liverpool head coach. Appointed as Jurgen Klopp's replacement back in 2024, the Dutchman won the Premier League title in his first season in charge. Sporting director Richard Hughes then backed Slot with £450 million worth of signings in the summer transfer window, adding two British record arrivals in the shape of Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz. But the season has unravelled, with the Community Shield defeat to Crystal Palace a harbinger of things to come. The Anfield club have lost 20 matches overall this term, the most this century, but FSG are said to be unwavering in their support for the head coach. Under contract until 2027, the 47-year-old fully expects to be in charge of the Reds next season, although there may be signs that patience will soon wear thin. Patience is wearing thin, according to James Pearce. James Pearce, writing in The Athletic, has often provided the most context for why FSG will be keeping Slot. He usually cites mitigating circumstances, injuries, and a decline in the output of key players as reasons why Slot's players might be struggling. But a 4-2 defeat to Aston Villa on Friday night in the Premier League has sparked a reaction. Liverpool have not won any of their last 3 Premier League games, following their humiliating exits in both domestic cups, as well as Champions League elimination to Paris Saint-Germain. And although Pearce has been unequivocal on the question of Richard Hughes and FSG CEO of football Michael Edwards backing Slot, there are now signs that is beginning to change. Slot said in the build-up to Friday's 4-2 defeat that he expects to keep his job this summer, following the recent conversations he's had with FSG CEO of football Michael Edwards and Sporting director Richard Hughes, but whether he should is a very different matter, the report reads. Arne Slot's position questioned by James Pearce. Can Edwards and Hughes really ignore the clamour for change among the fan base? It's growing louder by the week, and the Dutchman's public reassurances that Liverpool will be a very different force under his leadership next term sound increasingly hollow. Slot has undoubtedly been dealt a bad hand by circumstances beyond his control this season, but he's also consistently failed to get the best out of the resources available. Excuses are wearing thin, and trust in Slot has hit rock bottom. There's so much wrong that it seems fanciful it could all be fixed by buying pace out wide and adding more of a combative edge in midfield. Slot has got a certain amount of cash in the bank owing to his Premier League title win. But the fact of the matter is, Liverpool have been underperforming for more than a year now. There is uncertainty that the problems in the squad can be fixed quickly with a summer transfer campaign. The faults in the side look to be systemic. A failure to create chances, a failure to keep out set pieces, and a slow, ponderous style of play. At some stage, it was inevitable that the spotlight would turn towards Slot. And with Pearce, one of the journalists closest to the club, finally admitting the fault may lie with the head coach, the time has come for the reckoning. Will he survive? In another news, he's made his mind up. Liverpool star wants deal to join AC Milan. Liverpool are heading into the summer transfer window with several players uncertain of their futures. Mohamed Salah and Andy Robertson are of course already confirmed to be leaving, but other senior players are also facing up to the prospect of moving on with their careers elsewhere. Alisson Becker, for example, could be on his way out of Anfield, with Juventus said to be preparing an alluring contract for the veteran goalkeeper. Alexis Mac Allister, meanwhile, has not yet held any talks about a new contract, and his current deal runs down in 2028. We could also see Ibrahima Konate depart on a free, with the Frenchman entering the final weeks of his contract. Joe Gomez shaping up for exit. One more player unsure of his destiny is Joe Gomez. The defender has been on Merseyside for 11 years, the club's current longest-serving player. The England international's current contract expires in 2027, and he admitted earlier this week that this summer could spell the end. Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes will be against losing Gomez on a free next summer and is ready to listen to offers for the 28-year-old. 2 clubs have now been revealed to be interested in a report in the Daily Mail, Besiktas and AC Milan. Liverpool defender Joe Gomez is once again attracting interest from AC Milan and Besiktas as he considers his options this summer, the report reads. It's not the first time Milan have made a play for Gomez, who has been unsure of his place in the Liverpool squad ever since Jurgen Klopp left. Joe Gomez wants AC Milan move. They have had interest in Gomez previously from Milan, while Newcastle United and Crystal Palace have also discussed signing him as part of discussions for Anthony Gordon and Mark Guehi, the report states. Gomez has played far more than he might otherwise have expected this season due to injury problems at right back as well as a lack of senior cover in the middle of the defence. But with a big transfer shake-up expected and players to be added at right back as well as centre back, it could be finally time for Gomez to take his leave. The report also states that Gomez has got a preference out of those 2 interested parties. The England international is understood to be particularly interested by what Milan could propose, the report reads. That's all for today's update. Stay tuned for more breaking football news right here on LFC Echo Daily News. See you in the next video.